Hello everyone, welcome to the chapter called Polynomials for class 9. This is the part 3 of this particular chapter, and in this part we are going to basically discuss about the concept of zeros of a polynomial. But before going directly to the concept of zeros of a polynomial, let me try to discuss another concept, and gradually we'll go to the concept of zeros of a polynomial. So let's try to understand that concept. So let us consider a polynomial. Let's say a polynomial is considered, which we give it as px. Px equals to x square minus 2x. Now here, what is x? X is a variable. Now what is the meaning of a variable? Variable means such an entity that can take different values. That means the value of x is not fixed. Alright, that means in place of x we can put different values. Let's put the first value as 1. Now if I put 1 in place of x, what we will get? 1 square minus 2 into 1. Here in place of this x I am putting 1, and in this place of this x also I am putting 1. So what will be the result here? 1 square is 1 minus 2 ones are 2. So what we are getting? 1 minus 2 is how much? It is minus 1. Now similarly we can put different values in place of x. Now let us put x equals to 2. Now if I put x equals to 2, what I'll get here? I'll get 2 square minus 2 into 2. In between, if no symbol is there, we assume that it is what? It is multiplication symbol. These are very basic concepts which we all should know. Here 2 square is how much? 2 square is 4. 4 minus 2 into 2 is how much? It is 4. So we are getting 0 here. Alright. Now if I put p as 3, what I'll get? 3 square, in this equation I am putting, minus 2 into 3. 3 square is 9, minus 2 into 3 is 6. So it is how much? It is 3. So what we can understand here is that from this concept we can understand that in place of a variable we can put different values as per our choice. Now one thing to note here is that whenever we as we put x equals to 2 in this case, what is the result we are getting? The result we are getting is 0. So for some particular values of x or for some particular value of a variable, we will get the result as 0. By putting whatever value, we are getting the result as 0. That value is known as the zero of a polynomial. So here how can we say, what can we say as the zero of this polynomial px? So px is x square minus 2x. So what we, by putting what value in place of x, we are getting 0? In place of x, as we put 2, we are getting the value as how much? As we put 2, we are getting the value as 0. So 2 is the zero of the polynomial px. So how can we define the zero of a polynomial? The zero of a polynomial can be defined as follows. So as we can read here, a zero of a polynomial px is a number c such that pc equals to 0. In place of an expression, whenever we put a particular value, after putting that value we are getting 0. So for whatever value we are getting 0, that value is known as the zero of the polynomial. Alright. So let's take one example given here in the book itself. So here if I take let's say x plus 2. Let's say here we'll take Px equals to x plus 2. Here in place of x, if I put 0, I can put 0 also in place of x. What I will get? 0 plus 2 equals to 2. That means 0 is not a 0 of the polynomial Px. Now if I put 1, what I will get? 1 plus 2 is how much? 3. Is it 0? It is not equals to 0. Therefore, 3 is not a 0 of the polynomial Px. But if I put here minus 1, what I will get? Minus 1 plus 2. It is how much? It is 1. Is it 0? No. This is also not 0. Now, if I put minus 2, what I will get? Minus 2 plus 2 equals to 0. So, is it 0? Yes. So, for what value of Px we are getting 0? For minus 2 we are getting 0. So, minus 2 is a 0 of how much? Is a 0 of Px. So, 0 is nothing but a constant on putting which we are getting the result as 0. Now, one more question arises that in a polynomial, is there only one 0? No. Sometimes there may be more than one 0 also in case of a polynomial. For example, in this polynomial, let's say Px equals to x square minus 2x. If I put x equals to 0, what we are getting here? 0 square minus 2 into 0. That means 0 minus 2 into 0 is how much? 0 equals to 0. That means 0 is also one of the zeros of the polynomial. How much? Px. And in the same polynomial, as we put 2, that time also we are getting the value as how much? 0. So, for this polynomial Px, we are getting two zeros, which are 0 and 2. Why 0 and 2 are known as zeros of the polynomial Px? Because in place of x, as we put 0 and as we put 2, we are getting the result as 0. Now, here, what type of polynomial is Px? Px is how much? X square minus 2x. What is the degree of this polynomial? As we learned in the previous class, the degree of this polynomial x square minus 2x is 2. Now, since the degree is 2, this is a quadratic polynomial, and a quadratic polynomial has two zeros. Remember this thing. But this particular expression Px equals to x plus 2, what is the type of equation this is? This is a linear equation or a linear polynomial. Why? Because the degree of this particular polynomial is 1. And in the previous class, we have already learned that if the degree of a polynomial is 1, that type of polynomial is known as what polynomial? That type of polynomial is known as a linear polynomial. And the linear polynomial has only one 0. Okay, so if I take a cubic polynomial, let's say x cube minus 3x square minus 4. Now, what is the degree of this polynomial? The degree of this polynomial is 3. Therefore, it is a cubic polynomial. So, number of zeros is 3 in this case. Alright. So, I hope you have got a brief idea on zeros of a polynomial. We will do more examples, then it will be much more clearer to you. Today, I am just focusing on the concept. Now, the next point that we should know is that a non-zero constant polynomial has no zero. Non-zero constant polynomial means any constant. Let us, for example, take the constant as 8. Now, what will be the zero of this polynomial? Let us see. Now, 8 can be written as how much? 8x to the power 0. Now we know from the laws of exponents that anything to the power 0 is 1. Now in place of x, if I put 1, 8 into 1 to the power 0, that means 8 into 1, it is 8. Now in place of x, if we put 3, 8 into 3 to the power 0 is 8 into anything to the power 0 is 1, 8 into 1 is 8. In place of x, if I put minus 43, 8 into minus 43 to the power 0. We know that anything to the power 0 is 1. So 8 into 1 is 8. So for a non-zero constant polynomial, we do not get any 0. Therefore, we can make a statement as a non-zero constant polynomial has no 0. This type of questions are very important for MCQ based questions, and they are often asked in your examinations. Alright, now next few more statements we need to make. A linear polynomial has only one 0. Alright, so for example, if I take px equals to 2x minus 3, this is also a linear polynomial. Why? Because the degree of this polynomial is how much? The degree of this polynomial is 1. Now what is the shortcut trick to find out the 0 of a particular polynomial? Now instead of putting the values starting from zeros one after another, we have a shortcut trick also for finding out the 0 of a polynomial. The shortcut trick is that whatever polynomial is there, you equate it to 0. So it is given px equals to 2x minus 3. So if the question comes like this, that find the 0 of px equals to 2x minus 3. So what we will do, this is the answer, px equals to 0. Now in place of px, what we will write? We will write 2x minus 3 equals to 0. Now here we already know from our class 8 concept that we need to separate the variables and the constants. Here minus 3 is constant, so if it goes to the other side, it will become 3. So with x 2 is multiplied, so it will become divided. So we are getting how much? X has 3 by 2. So the 0 of px is 3 by 2. We can even verify it. How to verify? Now in place of px, if I put 3 by 2, let's see what I'll get. 2 into 3 by 2 minus 3. If I do like this, 2 gets cancelled. So we are left with 3 minus 3, that is equals to 0. So from this we can say that a linear polynomial has only one 0. Also I have already mentioned that a quadratic polynomial has 2 zeros and a cubic polynomial has 3 zeros. Those will be discussing at a later point. Alright, so from these concepts that we have learned till now, we can make a few observations which are as follows. The first observation is a 0 of a polynomial need not be 0. If we have a polynomial, it's not always true that the 0 must be 0 only. For example, let's try to see here. If I have a polynomial, let's say px equals to x square minus 2x. Here if I put 2, what will get? 2 square minus 2 into 2. 2 square is 4. 4 minus 2 2s are how much? 4. It is 0. So what is the 0 of px? One of the 0 of px is 2. Therefore this brings us to the explanation of the first point, which says the 0 of a polynomial need not be 0. It may be 0, but it's not mandatory that it must be 0 only. 0 may be a 0 of a polynomial, as we have seen in some of the examples. The 0 of a polynomial can also be 0. Like in case of this polynomial itself, if I put 0, what will get? 0 square minus 2 into 0, that means 0 minus 0, it is 0. So 0 also may be one of the zeros of a polynomial. Alright. Next, every linear polynomial has one and only one zero. I have given several examples related to this. A linear polynomial has how many zeros? A linear polynomial has only one zero. Next, a polynomial can have more than one zero. As we have already seen in this example of px equals to x square minus 2x, in place of x, if I put 0 or 2, in both the cases we are getting the result as how much? 0. So we can come to the conclusion that a polynomial can have more than one zero. That's all about the concept of zeros of a polynomial. In the next class, we are going to solve different type of examples related to the concept of zeros of a polynomial. I hope that this session was useful. I'll see you again in the next class. Thank you very much.